Hello, today we'll be doing the beer market analysis of 2018. Let's dive right on in. Our first question was to take inventory of the data. We were provided two separate data sets. One, unique craft beers, which contained about 2,400 craft beers. The other, craft breweries, which contained about 550 different craft breweries. Initial looks on the data showed that it was relatively clean. However, we did have some concerns with missing variables. The graph to the left shows the number of missing values per variable. IBU coming in at 42% clearly has some issues. However, ABV and style also had a few missing values, although not enough to raise concerns. The first question, where are the breweries? We know the craft beer market is hot, but which states are most of these breweries located in? To the left, we have a bar chart showing the number of craft breweries per state. As you can see, all states in the Union, including DC, are represented, and some states, such as California and Colorado, are topping scales with over 30 and 40 craft breweries per this data set. To the right of this, we've also provided a heat map. Obviously, the higher yellow it is, the more breweries per state, and the closer to dark blue/black it is, the least number of breweries per state. It confirms what we see in the bar chart. You see California there, Colorado, Texas, all with a relatively high number of breweries per state. One of the questions we asked, though, was that it seems that larger states tend to have a higher density of breweries. So maybe breweries per state is not the best measure for this data. We decided that perhaps a more appropriate measure would be breweries per capita. Here again, we can see the same graphic, so we have a bar chart. However, it paints a very different picture. Some of the states who were relatively high previously, such as California, have fallen much further down when we look at number of craft breweries per 100,000 residents. Some have stayed relatively high, such as Colorado, and some have come out of nowhere to lead the pack, such as Vermont. To the right again, our geomap shows the same trends that we see in the bar chart. We see Vermont up there in the top right, coming in with a very strong yellow at over 1.5 breweries per 100,000 residents. And you can see a lot of the states who were previously pink or yellow are now blue, as much as the other states are. Let's take a look at some of the key measurements of beer. How about alcohol by volume, or ABV, a key metric in the strength of beer? Our data really ran the gamut. Everything from the lowest alcohol of 0% or all the way up to the highest alcohol percentage of 13%. The average, however, was 6%, which makes sense for most consumer craft beer. For those interesting, the Upslope Lee Hill series, coming at 13% from Colorado, was in fact our strongest beer. And what about international bitterness units, or IBUs? IBUs is another key metric used to measure bitterness in beer. Let's see how this breaks down. Here again, we have a pretty wide variety. The lowest coming in at 4 IBUs, and the highest going all the way up to 138 IBUs. As you can see, however, 43 seems to be about the mean range of IBUs for most consumer beer. For those interesting, Bitter Bitch IPA from Oregon, coming in at 138 IBUs, is by far our strongest beer. Now, how about ABV and IBU together? How do they interact? Here we simply plotted ABV and IBU on a scatter plot and fitted a linear regression line to it. A quick eyeball test does in fact reveal that there seems to be some kind of correlation between the two. The higher the IBU, the higher the ABV. To confirm this, we performed a one-way ANOVA, which revealed a very low p-value, which shows there is in fact correlation between the two variables. All this data brings up some very interesting questions. Are the hot and cold spots areas of market saturation, or are there barriers to entry in the market? Or maybe they represent an untapped market. Are there preferences in ABV and IBU? Do people prefer a higher IBU? Do they prefer a lower ABV? Uncoupling ABV and IBU, obviously the trend is for both of these to go up at the same time, Maybe in some scenarios, users might enjoy a lower ABV yet higher IBU beer. As far as what data we need, there's many data points that we would be able to interpret, but I think the key would be to have some form of user feedback or user rating on the enjoyment of each beer. That's all for now. Thank you for taking the time.